Okay, come what may, we're going to have another video tonight. The Metro Richmond ARES net. I got it right. And we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a game called The Wizard of Oz. That's UH apostrophe S. The Wizard of Oz. Whomever says the word the most, once they've checked in and through their comments, has the honor of carrying the title Wizard of Oz. Couldn't do it last night because, had some problems on the RATS machine. Typical net control, couldn't check in. Wrong place, wrong time, I guess. Come up with something. Went to the RATS UHF machine, finally, after some egregious communications there because, well, we're communicators that can't communicate, apparently. So, he gave up, and I guess I gave up. Went on to other things. They closed the net early last night. Hopefully that won't be an issue tonight because the MRA is most definitely a better machine. So we're going to see what happens here, and we're going to tally. I've already got it set up. Who says the word the most? I think it's going to be a fun game. And tell you at the end of the video who wins. I'll also put it down in the comments. The only prize you get is the honor to bear the title Wizard of Oz. I talked to a guy yesterday on GMRS, and turns out that I just spoke to him about this. Him and maybe a cohort is down here on business from Pennsylvania, and they're across the river, about 1.75 miles from here, and they are cleaning out the water reclamation plant. I can only imagine what that entails, but he's using a portable bubble pack type GMRS FRS radio. He's making it almost 2 miles to my station from wherever he is. I don't know if that's on a hill or if I'm at a higher elevation. Of course, I'm in the valley, so not really sure how that works, but it really carries, and it carries far enough and strong enough for us to interfere with each other, and we notice. In fact, he's like, "Where'd you go last night?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, you're working on some kind of utility, right?" And he explained himself. And I said, "So, yeah, you were busy working. I wasn't going to interfere. We'd already established that." And he was kind of like disappointed, like I never came back. He's like, "Well, tonight, if I'm in a position where I need help, can I call you for help?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. You need to help, you call out. I'll send help for you. Send somebody to pull you out of the poo-poo pit." Ever dance with the dude with the pale moonlight? I can't believe they're out there all night doing that stuff. Ugh. Yeah, we're just a few minutes early.
7 p.m.
Almost. I think Chesterfield. That might be Dinwiddie. One is earlier than the other as far as the clock goes. Get one more time announcement, and then we'll definitely start the net. And I guess that's also depending on who net control is going to be tonight.
Arrival landing north, American 2020.
Got my paper log here ready to go. Going to score these stations. Let's see. We had some good tropospheric ducting this week. Lots of stations and, unbeknownst to us, other repeaters. Heard up and all and down the East Coast. There's the city-county repeater. They'll have their janitorial net here after a while. Gather up all your trash and your recyclables. The truck is here. Okay. Yet again, another one of those services where a woman gets on the air and all the guys go nuts. Now it's official. Thank you, lady. I'm gonna have to get me an atomic clock. Let's see. I guess technically. All right, so the other smart device says 7 o'clock. So it should be ready. It's already 1 minute after. Where's net control? Let's see if he's on the wrong frequency. Nope. Not on the wrong band. Not on any other repeater I can hear. There's the pooper scoopers. They're down there sucking out the tanks. Or the filters, whatever they called it. Like any other pond, you gotta get the silt out. Get it going. Let's try this. Kilo 4 Alpha Romeo X-ray. Be able to stir the pot just a little bit. We're trying to keep the frequency clear for a net. No, no, no. You're not. Is this the second failure in 1 week? Don't kerchunk the repeater, just identify. I don't hear anybody. Is my radio working? Well, Scott, you're an NCS. Why don't you just take over? You haven't had a turn this month yet, I don't think.
KK4OWU. Delta 6, Foxtrot Mike.
Well, there's 4 of us here, including a net control station.
Echo November Charlie.
There's 5. All right, Scott, you're the man in charge. Pick it up.
I think this walkie-talkie is going to die completely because you're going to all those people were signing in and we don't have a net control operator. I thought maybe you were doing it, William.
Yes, I'm unauthorized. However, you are an officiate that's on board NCS. Deny it. Deny it.
Roger, Roger. Let me get the script in front of me and
Oh
I'll
my
get
gosh.
started. Just a moment.
Well, at least he's honest. All right, I'll be standing by. K4 ARES. Let's go back and check on these employees.
I found a new port on the ground. I think these guys come through here later.
I dare you to light it up and smoke it. I know he heard me. I know he heard me. And that's just low power. Dadgum, Scott. Are you printing off the... What the hey? You'd figure with an organized ham shack like mine, you'd have the script right there handy somewhere, you know, in the drawer. Nope. He probably had to run down to the library to print off the accurate script. As long as he's been doing this, as long as any of these NCS has been doing this, why isn't it memorized by now? Why do you need
Right,
it?
I found it.
Oh,
Good evening. This is Kilo Oscar Rodeo calling the Metro Richmond ARES net for Thursday, August 29th. Your net control station this evening is KO4UOR, and my name is Scott.
say it. Unicorns over rainbows.
If at any time during this net you should need to relay emergency traffic, please use the word brake, and the net will yield for your traffic and assist in any way we can.
Right.
Metro Richmond ARES is part of the ARRL and the Virginia Section ARES program. This net meets weekly on Thursdays at 1900 hours on the 145.430 repeater.
Pepperoni's not supposed to be that
The
spicy.
purpose of this net is for training and announcements for the amateur radio community, with an emphasis on emergency communication.
Uh-oh.
We ask that all
I'm being
participating
hailed.
stations follow standard net procedures that would be used during an active emergency net. There is no requirement to be an ARES member. All amateurs who are within range of this repeater, regardless of location or affiliation, with proper license class, are invited and encouraged to participate in this net. Okay, some general housekeeping before we get started with check-in. This is a directed net, which means stations must be acknowledged by the net control operator before proceeding with comments or discussion. One feature of this net is the discussion of the day.
I know.
The discussion of the day is intended to be a way to learn more about amateur radio, emergency preparedness, and general safety. So we hope everyone will participate.
Let me guess. No topic for the net tonight. Because we are unprepared. Well, here's a topic. Preparedness.
Radios?
Preparedness. That's a nice topic.
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I read this part already or not. One feature of this net is the discussion of the day.
Yes.
The discussion of the day is intended to be a way to learn more about amateur radio,
Really.
emergency preparedness, and general safety. So we hope everyone will participate.
Yeah.
This week, and yes, I know I did read that twice now. This week, I'd like to choose as the topic
Preparedness.
the violent thunder / well, I don't know if there was much thunder, but the hailstorm of Sunday a week ago. Well, yeah, let's see. Almost 2 weeks ago. But the hailstorm on Sunday, were you affected
Way ahead now.
negatively? Did you have any damage to your vehicle or your home? All right. And it doesn't have to be that one, as that one didn't affect you. But I'm kind of curious to have input about what the heck does an insurance company do if you file a claim for hail damage to your vehicle? Would a body shop fill all of those dents and then repaint the surfaces that are damaged? I'm wondering if it's worth my while to file a claim. So at our house we had that yet. Anyway, let me take a break and we'll get started with check-ins. I apologize for not jotting down those stations that called in already, but I was not scheduled to be the net control operator, but I'm happy to fill in. Taking a break.
That's why you're a volunteer. Show up when necessary.
Okay, I'll be taking check-ins in two groups, mobile and portable stations, and then all other stations. When checking in, I only need your call sign phonetically with proper ITU alphabet and your first name. I will get your location and a received signal report when I call back for comments. If you are an ARES, Skywarn, or MCOM official, please identify yourself as such. Okay, let's get started with check-ins. Mobile and portable stations. Are there any mobile or portable stations wishing to check in? I need your call sign and your first name. Please call now. This is
One at a time, please.
Kilo Quebec 4, November Sierra Romeo. The name here is Bill, Baker, India, Lima, Lima. In and out, over.
No error.
This is Kilo Delta 6, Foxtrot Mike, Roger, Romeo, Oscar, November.
So if I'm
This is November 8th, Echo Lima Sierra, Nathan, mobile.
Hi, Nathan. Thanks for checking in.
Hold.
After 3?
Right before the net began, I was in an FT8 session, and I just tried switching from my HT to my FT991A, but it doesn't seem to have released correctly. So I'm back on my handheld, and I heard the end of Nathan's check-in, but no others. So let's start again. Mobile and portable station. Please
Really?
call now. This is Kilo Quebec 4, November Sierra Romeo. The name here is Bill, Baker, India, Lima, Lima. In and out, mobile.
Denied.
This is Kilo Delta 6, Foxtrot Mike, Ron, Romeo, Oscar, November.
This is November 8th, Echo Lima Sierra, Nathan, mobile, in and out. If you would check, I might still be around for comments. Before Zulu Alpha Kilo, John, in and out.
Come on, guys. Y'all are no fun.
Right. Net control copies KQ4NSR, Bill, in and out. Thanks for checking in, Bill. KD6FFM, Ron. N8ELF,
Gesundheit.
Nathan, also in and out. And W4ZAK, John, also in and out. But let's see, I'm going to go...
Ew.
I'm going to go back to the top of the list because it's short still, and I want to call these stations right away. So the topic is hailstorms. How do you handle them with your insurance company? And did you have any damage from Sunday a week ago?
Jeez. God.
We did.
Jeez.
That was a wild storm. My son and I were out in my vehicle at the time, almost back to the neighborhood, and we just pulled over and stopped and got pounded for about 10 minutes. So anyway, let's go to everybody was safe. Over.
You see that in and out BS doesn't work.
Very good, very good. And I didn't realize that it had moved through Chesterfield before Western Henrico. It must have been a pretty long-lived storm. And boy, I have never seen hail like. We didn't get any hail, but we got a quick burst of some extremely turbulent winds and
Turbulent?
a sheet of rain there. It was quick. It was moving super fast. And then it headed on up, I guess, up towards Glen Allen and out that way. Over.
It's raining the sheet outside right now. Kidding. Just kidding. Did you fall asleep, Scott? Wake up. Oh, very funny guy. Very funny.
All inspectors,
so
we're
tempting.
about to start.
It's so tempting.
Trash and recycle, please have it out and ready to go. Thank you.
There's a recycle announcement.
Screen, you can bypass the print if you don't have any cardboard.
Did you say Supreme Court?
10-4.
Was that enough to run Scott off?
My apologies. Oh boy. KO4UOR, Scott, calling the Metro Richmond ARES net. And when I was calling for Ron, I didn't realize that my little HT battery had died. So I am back on the FT991A. And I'm going to give a call to Ron, KD6FFM. Please share your comments with us, Ron.
Of all the discussions we had over the month about having things ready, batteries and backups and backup radios.
I'm not the only one with battery problems. I wonder where you disappeared to. I didn't know if any hailstorms or anything like that in this area, but I didn't. I watched TV, missed it all. But I didn't see any damage. Of course, I don't have a vehicle. I didn't see any damage on their roofs or no branches. But that's about it, all. All right. Thank you very much, Ron. Yeah, I had a neighbor 2 houses down, and he said that his aluminum siding was damaged pretty severely. We've got aluminum siding as well, but maybe it's better, maybe it's thicker material.
I can't keep up.
It's got the wood grain to it, and it's very old. Very old. It's been on the house as long as we've been here, 34 years, but it seems to have come through without a scratch. And I figured out why I was having trouble with this radio when I tried switching the first time. And that was because I had the volume turned all the way off during my FT8 session. So sorry about that, folks. Next, let's go to, he said he was in and out, but maybe John is still available. W4ZAK.
Just skip Nathan, N8ALS. Oh. Communicators that can't communicate.
Right, I think he was serious. He's in and out. So let's open it up to all other stations. I only need your call sign phonetically and your first name. Please call now.
Net control. This is
Kilo 4, Oscar Whiskey Uniform, Mike, Glen Allen.
Delta. Name is Randy.
This is
I can play that game.
Kilo November 4, Victor Alpha, Michael.
This is Whiskey 4, Romeo Tango Hotel. Bye.
Never mind.
Kilo Quebec 4, Romeo Alpha Mike Will. This is
I may not get to check in tonight.
Kilo Oscar 4, Romeo Mike Victor PJ.
PJ.
This November 1, Echo, November Charlie, and 1 ESC, TJ. This is Kilo Quebec 4, Echo Foxtrot, Smart.
Now, net control. This is Kilo 4, Alpha Romeo X-Ray, William. Finally. Pile up.
All right, very good, very good.
Last on the list.
Well, I'm
Aha.
going to bring you back up to the top of this section because I heard you, but you got stepped on a little bit. So K4ARX,
How kind.
William, and then KK4OWU, Mike, KO4KAD, Randy, KN4VA, Michael, W4RTH, Bob, KQ4RAM, Will, KO4RMV, BJ, N1ENC, TJ,
Radio's off.
KQ4MPF, Mark. All right, let's go up to William. William, where are you tonight, and how are you reading me? Please share your comments.
Yes, sir. I copy you pretty good over here. No less than usual. You're fine to the repeater. Still over here in Chaco Valley, right across the interstate from the MCV-VCU Hospital. And that's just downtown Richmond there. Did yield to the weaker station there. Pretty sure that didn't really get stepped on. But I do have enough to handle this here as close as I am to the repeater. So at that, as far as the topic of the night goes tonight, we did receive some weather that Sunday. I believe that we were right between those storms that came through. We did receive some localized cloud to ground lightning. We did not receive gusty winds. It was barely a breeze, actually. We only received a little bit of rain at the time. We received no hail, so we didn't have anything to suffer from. As far as filing for your car insurance, my advice to you is to be very careful as you do so, because the number one reason is once you file for things like that with your insurance company, they tend to raise your premiums after that. Then again, you could go ahead and take care of it yourself. I don't know if you want to do that kind of body work, but you can do it. Or you can just leave it alone. It doesn't really hurt the value of your car, in my opinion, as a used car buyer. Wouldn't concern me a bit. Back over to you, KO4UOR from K4ARX. Okay, I caught myself 3 times. So
All
give
right,
myself
thank
a
you very
score
much,
of 3.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along those lines. It seems like if you file a claim with your insurance company, you can be sure your rates will go up. Although all of our rates are going up, seems like every time it's time for renewal anyway. And I guess they'll be raising rates because they'll have a whole bunch bunch of other folks who filed for hail damage as well. So
That'll
yeah,
drive up the general.
Oh, William,
I guess,
before I
premiums.
go to the next station, I know you monitor quite effectively.
Gosh darn it. I can't keep
Was
up.
there a Skywarn net during that storm on Sunday, to your recollection?
To the best of my knowledge, there may have been an NCS on the RATS machine, VHF. Received no check-ins, no reports. And we had a discussion about that over here and probably on Discord as well. So as far as I can remember, we did not have an official Skywarn net.
All right, thank you very much. Next, let's go to Mike, KK4OWU. Where are you tonight, Mike? How are you copying me? I brought my power from 50 down to 15. Should be plenty.
Yeah.
And then share your comments with the group.
I don't think Scott's any farther away from the
Yes,
computer than I am.
KK4OW, I'm receiving you fine. We did not come at Staples Mill in 295, and we got a little hail, nothing damaging.
5,
As far as
6, 7,
insurance and hail damage,
8,
as far as autos,
9,
depends on
10,
what kind of coverage you have. And
11,
I've got a
catching up.
brother-in-law that
12,
has been in auto body work for a long time, and sometimes that could be a little difficult to repair. Sometimes you have to remove the interior roof lining and this, that, and the other. But
15,
other than that, my understanding depends what kind of coverage you have, whether it's covered or not, and
17.
insurance rates are going up everywhere, regardless of anything else. Get ready to cook dinner. Thanks for doing that. 73, everybody. KK4OWU.
17 Us. Scott still got him by pretty good measure, though.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Yes, a lot to think about. Yeah, enjoy your dinner. I hope you're making something good. We had ham steak and coleslaw and blueberry and strawberry mixed. There was one other thing. What do we have? Oh, sweet potato.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm pretty spoiled. My wife makes dinner and has it ready at 5:30 just about every night. So get done with work at 5 and get to eat at 5:30. But of course, I start getting hungry about now. But anyway, next let's go to Randy, KO4KAD. How are you tonight, Randy?
KO4UOR, KO4KAD, good evening, Scott. First, a big thank you, gratitude for picking up the net. I know it was not your night, because I was in the kitchen beating my face when I realized I didn't hear the radio down the hall. And came barreling in here, and you picked up the mic. And then I completely understand your frustration between the HT and FT8. And so again, thank you for stepping up. Yeah, so that storm, let me let it drop for a second.
Mic drop.
Yeah, well, for people listening, Scott and I only live about a mile from each other, if that. So we got hammered pretty hard as well here. It came out of nowhere, and it was furious. Thankfully, I did not, my vehicle and nor my home did not have any substantial damage. A lot of trees down in the neighborhood, a lot of limbs down in my yard, and we did lose power. But yeah, it was of them were bigger than that. I'm sorry to hear about your vehicle, Scott. That's a bummer. Really, really is, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess it all just depends on what kind of coverage you have.
It's only a car.
Virginia Power was fairly quick, or Dominion Energy, getting the service back on. It was the next day, but that's better than it's been in the past. And it didn't seem to be too many outages because the storm was just so scattered. But the areas it did hit, it hit hard. There's a house across the street, or across three chopped, over by on Camden Road, that the roof is gone from a giant tree, and it's still tarped up. I'm sure the people aren't living there. Yeah, so have a lot to be thankful for. But again, thanks for running the net tonight, Scott. Great job. And quick announcement, we are looking for a new NCO for the 5th Thursday of the month. Not every month has a 5th Thursday, so it's not putting you on the spot for 12 months out the year. So if anybody's interested in that, shoot me an email, kl4kad@gmail.com. Back to Net Control 73 from KL4KAD.
All right, thank you very much, Randy. Yeah, our power went out for a couple of seconds on Sunday, but came right back. The folks across the street were not so lucky, and the people behind them, probably about, I don't know, 30 homes. A tree fell on the lines and broke a telephone pole, so they were without power for about a day and a half. And it wasn't Dominion that was working in our area, but it was Maftech. They have a
Subcontractor.
lot of equipment out here. But anyway, yeah. All right. This is KO4UOR, net control for the Metro Richmond ARES net. Let's go to Michael, KN4VA. Good evening, Michael. How are you, sir?
KO4UOR. This is KN4VA. Name is Michael. I am over in the 360 Genito area, not too far from Southside Speedway.
The what?
And you are booming in with that 15 watts there, Scott, so you're sounding pretty good. First, I'd like to say that, you have nothing to lose by talking with your insurance company, okay? And I have never had my rates increased because I filed a claim. I have always had good insurance with, I have Erie Insurance, and I've always had good luck with them, and my rates only raised because the rates were raising for everybody. Let me take a nickel.
I don't have a nickel. Well, I do. But...
In regards to the storm, we basically had nothing. We had a bit of wind. It didn't even blow leaves off the tree. It was black. It was almost dark here. So I could hear thunder. I could hear a lot of stuff going on, but we had zero here. So I'm very fortunate for that. I hated that everybody else got it, but it must have been just a very narrow band of a storm that kind of came through, but nothing here on the south side much to talk about. So with that, Randy, I'm sorry, Scott, I'll hand it back over to you, and this is KN4VA back to net control.
Yeah, we barely broke wind over here.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has checked in so far. I think without exception, everybody has used the really excellent protocol of keying up, saying this is, releasing the mic, listening for other stations, back over to you. KO4 UOR W4RTA.
Scott, not Randy. Scott.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob. Let's go to KQ4RAM. Will. Good evening, Will.
Hello, Scott, and hello to everyone on the net. Thanks for doing the net this evening. On short notice, you're doing a good job. I have never. This is Will in Eastern Hanover County, by the way, and you're coming in loud and clear, as always, Scott.
You said that.
I've never had a hail damage claim. My only experience with it was my folks have a small place in Florida that they go down to in the winters, and it's in a community with a lot of small places, they're mobile homes more or less. And they had a freak hail event down there, and it almost destroyed that place. It tore up everyone's siding and roofs. So everyone had to do insurance claims. I know that's a little different than a vehicle, but yeah,
It's
it
Florida.
took them, it's in a small area of Florida, so you only have so many contractors. So it took a long time for everyone to get their damage repaired. But then I think after that, my dad's insurance got canceled, and he had to go with a new policy. That's a challenge in Florida. But that's my only experience with hail damage. Good to hear everyone on the net this evening. And Scott, I'll turn it back over to net control. KO4 UOR KQ4 RAM.
All right. Thank you very much, Will. Yes. Yeah, my sister and her husband live in Tampa, Florida. And even before they moved there, just, visits to Disney World and other places, other tourist attractions, you really start to notice that it seems like every afternoon at 4 o'clock, they have a thunderstorm that comes through, but, keeps things green and cools things off for the rest of the afternoon. Anyway, let's see. Next on our list is KO4RMV. PJ. Good evening, PJ.
PJ.
Good evening, everybody on the net. Name here is PJ, coming from the north side of Henrico County. Sounds like you guys are talking about the storm the other night. I'll say I got lucky. Not much on this side. And I'm not too far from you guys out there on the other side of the county, so a little surprising, but glad we didn't have anything. Usually turn down the DMR radio, the best mode in ham radio. Let me get back over here now. But anyway, yeah, it's been
Shameless plug.
Pleasure to hear the net tonight, and I appreciate you jumping in there last minute and jumping on. I heard there was a little fiasco, so that's why I decided to jump into the net and enjoy the fiasco for a bit. But it sounds like we've recovered very well. So great job, Scott. And I'll turn it back over to you. This
Touche.
is KO4RMV, back to net control. KO4 UOR.
The most entertaining, boring net on the East Coast.
My. Yes, thanks, PJ. So DMR, the best mode in ham radio. Interesting. And of course, I don't have that equipment. I guess I better get on board.
Another charger.
All right. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen what the interstate looked like. We're just a block away from Interstate 64, and when we came home in that storm, my son and I came across the bridge on Pelham going over I-64, and we could see a downpour ahead. We didn't know it was full of hail, so we drove right into it, turned the corner into the neighborhood, and pulled over immediately.
Oops.
And within the next 5 minutes or so, 5 other cars joined us on the little cul-de-sac where we had stopped. And every second, I was expecting to hear glass shatter. But yeah, we were just being bombarded with ice balls. And
What?
all right, let's see. Next, we go to M1
into Duke, and I got off the Interstate 64 onto Route 249, and it was full of tree limbs and other debris from the storm. It knocked down 2 or 3 pretty big trees on 249, so I had to take a back way to get home, and it was just like covered in leaves and sticks and everything. So I did have my chainsaw in the back of the truck just in case I had to cut my way through the road, and my power ended up being out for about 24 hours. So
Neighborhood hero. I hear ya.
So other than that, I don't have any further comments. Nathan at AELS wanted me to mention that they are having a Parks on the Air event at Pocahontas State Park on Saturday, September 28th at 10 a.m. If anybody is interested, contact Nathan and November 8th, Echo Lima Sierra, and he will get you set up. He just wanted me to mention that. Anyway, no further comments. Turn it back over to Net Control. This is November 1, Echo, November Charlie.
Aren't you supposed to ask permission to make announcements before you make announcements?
All right, thank you very much, TJ. This is KO4UOR calling the Metro Richmond ARES Net. And yeah, thank you for that announcement. I look forward to that POTA gathering. And for Randy and other folks on the net, well, Randy and I had talked about requesting that a POTA hashtag be added to Slack. And I did make that request, but I was turned down. Reed said that it would be fine to use the HF hashtag or the general hashtag for announcements about POTA activations and just POTA in general. I think it warrants its own hashtag and could be quite popular. So we may see that in the future. But I think Randy, KO4KAD, and Nathan, N8ELS, are building an email list to let people know, all the details for the upcoming event. And we hope to make it be a pretty regular thing. I think it would be fun to activate a park for a long period of time, maybe 4 to 6 hours, with multiple operators just taking a turn. Get their 10 or 15 contacts and then hand it over to somebody else. But anyway, another topic for another day. Next, let's go to Mark, KQ4MEF. Good evening, Mark. How are you, sir?
How are you supposed to handle 4 to 6 hours POTA if you can't handle a single hour on a traction net?
Western Henrico, Old Glen Allen area. Obviously reading you out loud and clear. Thanks for picking up on the net. I know that was really short notice. As far as the hail storm, we got just a little bit. I think Randy actually called that on the radio. That was the first notice I guess everybody got, and that thing came through really fast. I was out on the back porch, a lot of wind, pea-sized hail for just a little bit, and within 10 or 15 minutes the sun was out. So it was pretty crazy. Have not had to deal with insurance claims for hail damage, but the other gentleman that talked about the body shop, I can imagine how much work, tedious work it would take to go through and get all those pulled out.
Talking about me?
Anyway, that's about it for me. We'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Scott. KO4UOR, KQ4MEF.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, and I'm sure that we're covered for it because we're kind of overinsured, and I'm not sure I want to continue that. But anyway, it's so expensive. But I kind of wonder if the cure
be worse than the disease, being without the vehicle for, I don't know, a week or whatever it takes. And, yeah, I'm kind of curious too. What do new car dealers do after a storm like that? You got a whole parking lot full of brand new vehicles, and now they've got hail damage. Can you fix it and still sell them as new?
No.
Or you have to discount them and disclose? I don't know. Anyway, we have temporarily reached the end of our list. Are there additional stations wishing to check in to the Metro Richmond ARES net? If so, please call now with your call sign phonetically and your first name.
This is Kilo Quebec for Lima Yankee Lima, Jeff.
There had to be one.
This is Kilo Quebec for Sierra Lima Alpha, Thomas.
All right, Net Control recognizes KQ4LYL Jeff and KQ4SLA Thomas. Let's go up to Jeff. How are you this evening? Where are you this evening? And how are you reading me? And then please share your comments with the net.
Can we get right 5-10 degrees
Lost it.
This is KQ4LYL. Thank you, Scott, and good evening to everyone on the net. I am over in the Ashland Home Depot parking lot, and I read you loud and clear.
The weather's bad, so we'll just
you can provide me a signal report on me as well. I'm coming in on 5 watts and coming in over C4FM. I think it's doing the cross mode repeat. Coming digital, go out analog. I heard your comment earlier about appreciating everyone going slow, letting the repeater break before finishing checking in. And I have a comment about that. I've noticed that when operating in digital C4FM into the repeater has to be silent in order for it to receive my signal. So in other words, if you have two stations that are talking back and forth and the repeater does not break, then there's no way for a digital station to break in. That's all I have to say about that. It's not a negative or positive, just an observation. I had no idea that there was hail in the area here. I was driving right now at the Home Depot and staring at my hood of my car, and I'm thankful that I don't see any dents in the hood. So I don't have much more for the net this evening. Thanks for taking my call. Here where you all are, this is KQ4LYL 73, back to net control.
Right. Thank you very much, Jeff. You are full quieting into the repeater. No noise whatsoever on your signal. Oh, hey, I guess that's what full quieting means. Anyway, yeah, the hail we got was part of the storm. Not this past Sunday, but the previous one. About, I don't know, it must have been about 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon. But anyway, yeah, thank you for checking in, Jeff. And thanks for that information about how important it is to allow the repeater to reset. I didn't know that about digital signals, that unless it was totally quiet, you wouldn't even have a chance to get in. So, next, let's go to KQ4SLA, Thomas. Good evening, Thomas. Please share your comments with the net.
house wasn't on fire. Because it was the brightest lightning I've ever seen. So it was kind of blinding. I just knew it had to be very close. And
Loud.
then, a
No
little while
doubt.
later, I realized the internet hadn't come back on. Didn't think nothing of it. Then Comcast said there was no outages. So then I knew I really had a problem. And where I found the, I'll let it drop for a second.
Mic drop.
I found the charred pile of rocks there right beside my air conditioning unit. Just a few feet over is where my coax feed line comes into the house for my Comcast or Xfinity. And I think that lightning jumped and rode that coax right up into my router because the gentleman came out and put his test equipment on and something had smoked inside of the router. But thankfully nothing else in the whole house was affected by it. So I'm very lucky in that regard. But yeah, nothing else to report other than that. Another option for you, I don't know if you looked into it with the damage or not, but they also have what they call paintless dent repair or dent removal. There's mobile guys that'll come out and use specialized tools and they can get behind those body panels and work some of those dents out without having to worry about doing anything. But that's it. I just want to share that with you. Hope everybody has a good evening. And back over to Net Control. KQ4 SLA, I'll be clear.
That kind of skill's expensive. Unless you want to do it yourself.
Hey, Thomas, thank you very much. Sorry to hear you were the victim of a lightning strike. I'm glad it didn't do more damage than it did, because it sounded like if it wasn't direct right there next to your air conditioning unit, it was very, very, very close. And yeah, it must have been deafening as well as super, super bright. All right. Let's make one more call. Are there any other stations wishing to check into the Metro Richmond ARES net? If so, please call now with your call sign phonetically and your first name.
We're already over an hour.
Kilo Fox 4, Whiskey, Mike Bravo, Jim.
2 more slots. No, I'm scanning.
All right, Net Control recognizes KF4WMB, and I got the case sound of your name, but that was all. I think you unkeyed a little too quickly. But let me turn it over to you, KF4WMB. WMB, please share your comments with the net.
Okay, Scott, this is KF4WMB. Yeah, I was listening to all the weather reports. I was wondering, when did all this weather hit? This evening, today, with the hail in your area?
Last Sunday.
No, Jim, it was not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday. If I was better at math, I could tell you the date. But, yeah, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, very fast-moving storm. But here in my neighborhood and Randy's, we had golf ball size hail. Some of it was smooth, but a lot of it had spikes on it. And for at least a half hour, sorry, I had to sneeze, but for at least a half hour after the storm, like some other folks said, the sun came out right away, and the hail almost immediately, melted on pavement. But it was evident in the yard for at least a half hour. The ice on the grass did not melt quickly. So yeah, 2 Sundays ago. Back to you, Jim.
I thought it was last Sunday.
Okay, Scott, wasn't sure. Whether there's recent weather. We're getting, there's some storm around here in town of Louisa now. Thundering pretty close. A lot of static in the air. But anyway, thanks
check into your net and taking my call. KL4UOR, KL4WMB.
All right. Thanks for checking in tonight, Jim. Okay. Well, we are almost at the top of the hour, so I am going to wrap things up by telling you what you already know. There are other ARES and MCOM nets in the area. On Monday nights at 1900 hours, the Powhatan ARES net meets on 147315, the Powhatan repeater. Also on Mondays, the Richmond County MCOM net meets at 2000 hours on the 147.270 repeater, Gum Springs VHF. On Tuesday nights, the Dinwiddie County ARES net meets at 1900 hours on the 147.390 repeater. And I think maybe they meet at 2000 hours now. I need to double check that and update my copy of the script.
You need to stick to the teleprompter. That's what you need
Also
to do.
on Tuesday nights, the Chesterfield ARES net meets at 2100 hours and is called by David, KN4LQN, on the 147.360 repeater, Chester. Also on Tuesdays, you can check into the Chesterfield County ARES WinLink net.
Squeeze it out, Scott.
More information is available at the Chesterfield ARES.us website. On Wednesdays, all day long, you can check into the WinLink Wednesday net by sending a WinLink message to David, KN4LQN, at winlink.org. On Wednesday nights at 2000 hours, the Tri-Cities MCOM net meets on the 147.390 repeater.
Dispatch actually U21429.
Thank you to everyone that checked in tonight. This is KO4UOR. And let's see, I need to skip down to the bottom here. I will now proceed to close the net, but before I do, I would like to thank all those stations who participated and the stations that stood by to give us time for this net. I would also like to thank the MRA group for the use of their repeater.
Oh my gosh.
The Metro Richmond ARES net is now closed, and this repeater is returned to regular amateur radio use. 73, everyone. This is KO4UOR. Clear.
KO4UOR, K4EXX.
Well, good evening, Don. How are you, sir?
Where were you, Don? You're
Yeah,
late.
sorry, I just wanted to give you a holler and apologize. I wanted to be on the net tonight,
Uh-huh.
but I had my air conditioning man just came at right at 7 o'clock, so I had to go. I tried to do a quick in and out, but I don't know where I made it or not.
No, we just can't do without the air conditioner, huh?
I did not hear you, but I've got you down now. I've added you to the list. You make number 17 for tonight's net. And hope the air conditioning man was able to fix whatever was ailing you. I can't imagine living a life without air conditioning like we all did when we were kids.
Oh yeah, I remember being in school with no air conditioning back in the 50s. Yeah, we wouldn't want to go through that again. I don't know what we could do without cell phones and air conditioning and all that stuff. Anyway, sorry I missed you guys tonight. I did have the radio on some, but I had to turn it down now and then. But I will be listening out for you later on down the road. So 73s to you, and
Oh boy. 17 check-ins unofficially because Dawn was late. We have a winner. Our average score for saying the word and I included ums and average is about 15 across the board. Tonight's winner, who shall be dubbed Wizard of Uz.
ENC from KO4RNV.
The Wizard of Uz is Net Control Station Scott, KO4UOR.
KO4RNV. This is N1 ENC. Go ahead.
104. 104 in an hour's time.
Are you able to add a chat group to the Discord for soda correction and totem? Yes, I am. In fact, as I heard about the request, I put one in the Discord just moments after that. So we now have a Parks on the Air specific text channel for the Discord server.
50 heading is 070, just 404.
Sorry, Tip, I appreciate you. I'm not at my computer.
What?
I was having a hard time with
You throw a 10 code on the repeater?
KO4RNV, quick. Of course, just a couple of clicks. Added. N1 ENC, clear.
One demerit for KO4RNV for saying a 10 code on the repeater, K4ARX.
K4ARX, this is KG4LYL. K4RV, still around?
Oh, he's embarrassed now.
Yeah, go ahead. And William, I missed your traffic, but if you want to get back on, you can just go ahead.
Merch, pick up the Hyper 9, Jeff Heather. How is everyone doing this evening? 404. Your voices haven't talked to either one of you in a little bit. Hope both of you are doing well.
Yeah, doing just fine over here. I was issuing one demerit to RMV for stating a 10 code on the MRA. Tongue in cheek, of course. Go ahead, K4ARX.
Jumping in here, I heard everything that DJ had to say, but I think both of you doubled. William, you want to try that again?
No. Yeah, it's not important. I was just being a little silly. That's all. Back over to you, Jeff. KQ4LYL. Jeez. Communicators that can't communicate again.
Well, PJ, you have any fun projects you've been able to have find any time to work on radio-wise?
I was working on trying to get a Raspberry Pi Zero set up on Linux via
Raspberry Pi.
VNC and SSL, but I was having an issue. Anyway, I wanted to get that Raspberry Pi so it would pick up my weather station, and then I wanted to beacon that weather station onto APRS.
Yeah, I need to.
But I was having a hard time getting the Raspberry Pi to recognize the driver for the weather station. So it kicked my butt for a little bit, and then I just kind of gave up on it. So I'm reflashing it now, SSH into it again, and maybe give it another shot.
Didn't hear William come back, so I'm going to go ahead and step in here then. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I encourage you to, just keep trying. There's a fortune cookie, no joke, that I opened up. It said, success never tasted so good without failure as an appetite. And once you get that thing working,
it'll be a sigh of relief and notching the belt of something you learn to master. So it sounds pretty fun. I enjoy learning new things too. So I've got a little project I'm about to figure out. So my wife took over the office upstairs, which had all my radio equipment, and I've got all my coax running to that room. They're long runs because it's running down the wall and then kind of zigzagging across a giant executive desk. And I think there's enough slack for me to put it into the conduit going all the way down to the crawl space. So I might try and reroute those cables to my new office on the first floor. Over to you, DJ.
Yeah, Roger, that sounds fun. Yeah, that's always fun when you're rerouting cables, let me tell you. I kind of got frustrated with it just because it was something so simple. I couldn't realize why it wasn't recognizing the driver when everything says that it should be recognizing the driver. So, oh well, it's all good. No biggie there. But maybe I'll find something else. I've seen people, this is not radio related, but I've seen people turn these Raspberry Pis into like a Pi-hole server is what it's called. And you can run it as your DNS and black out some stuff.
K4ARX, are you still on the round table, or go to you for a second? Well, nothing heard. Okay. Raspberry or Pi-hole. Yeah. I know several individuals that have used it for DNS and black holing malicious websites. Also really good for putting web filters on your network. Now I can tell you the only way that you're going to make that work, because today there's this thing called encrypted DNS that runs over HTTPS. The only way the Pi-hole or the Pi thing is going to work is if either it is decrypting your traffic, which there's complexity there because you have to install a trusted certificate on all your devices, kind of thing, or if you block encrypted DNS on your network, then it forces everything to use clear text DNS, which then your DNS single services will operate as intended. So that's my experience and knowledge in that area. So as you play with it, if you're not blocking that encrypted DNS, more than likely, from what I've seen, encrypted DNS kind of is half of what would be going out over the internet anyways. So over to you.
Yeah, Roger. I'll have to look into that. Like I said, it was just something real quick that I was looking at the other night because I had this Raspberry Pi Zero laying around. I was like, I gotta do something with this thing. And I had originally bought one to beacon this weather station on the ARES, but because that didn't work out, I was wondering if I could just do one of those Pi holes. I've actually got two Raspberry Pi Zeros, so I am going to try the weather station again. But I may look into running it as a DNS server and see how that works. I have no experience with it. I use a pretty good DNS server now, I think, but wouldn't mind having a little bit more. Not that I'm really that worried about security. I'm just more worried about seeing if I can do it. It may even turn it into a web server, because there's a way you can turn these things into a web server as well, and then open some ports on my router and maybe go that way. We'll see. These things are pretty cool. You can do a lot with them, so just kind of exploring multiple options. Thought about building a ham clock with it. I'm sure you've seen those. Those are pretty cool, but I'm not a general, so K4RV, this is KT4L returning. Yeah, so I've got a pile of Palo Alto network firewalls if you're interested in trying it out and kind of getting your hands on an enterprise grade firewall and seeing what some next gen features look like. Let me know, and be more than happy to come over and share the ropes and use it on your network for a little bit and see what it's like. Anyways, I am just now pulling up the house, and family time awaits. So, I'm going to be clear. K4RV, I'll be 7-3 and clearing your final. This is KT4LM.
Okay.
KO4RMV, roger that. I appreciate the QSO, and yeah, we may have to discuss the firewall thing. To be honest, I am still not 100% sure how a hardware firewall would work. I'm not that deep into home lab stuff, so we could definitely discuss a little bit more about that. But yeah, enjoy your night, enjoy the family. Hope everybody's doing well, and looking forward to catching up again. KO4RMV, I'll be clear.
Sorry, guys. Had to step away from the mic. K4 ARX. You just missed out, William. Too bad. All right, so I have sent in my request to apply for the 5th Thursday of the month net control. Have no answer yet, which is okay. So we'll find out. Tonight's Wizard of Oz, again, Scott, KO4UOR, 104. 104. I counted Uz and ums. Golly. All right. William, K4ARX, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time, right here on American Radio X-Ray.